Would you guys be mad at me if I told you that the entirety of the Shrek franchise is literally just an allegory for what it means to be a black person in America, having to deal with identity politics, epidermalization, as well as intergroup fighting? Well, I hope not, because in today's video, I'm definitely going to be talking about what exactly Shrek 1 is trying to tell us about being a marginalized individual amongst other marginalized people. So if you're interested in like a discussion on that, keep on watching. This video was able to be made thanks to all of my lovely Patreons. If you want to be like these lovely people and get access to exclusive chats with me as well as videos, make sure you join my Patreon. Now let's get back to our regularly scheduled content. When we first meet Shrek, we can see what kind of individual that he is from the jump, just based off his environment alone. If you look at the place that Shrek calls home, you can see that it is an isolationist paradise. It is the middle of nowhere. It is an empty, stinky bog that nobody with sense will want to come to, and Shrek's home is a direct reflection of who he is and how he wants to live his life. Shrek would have continued to live in this isolationist paradise if it wasn't for the plot of this damn movie. So, a group of antagonistic villagers decide that this is the time to ruin Shrek's life. So, under the new order by Lord Farquaad, all fairy tale creatures need to be round up, because the idea of having fairy tale creatures, marginalized individuals, is just such a disgusting idea to Lord Farquaad, and he wants them removed from his presence so he can live in his idealized version of reality. And so under this order, the villagers decide that, hey, this individual, with the way he's looking, will definitely fit under the category of fairy tale creatures. And so because of this order that Lord Farquaad made, these villagers are emboldened enough to come and try to attack Shrek in the middle of the night. These villagers know they're not ish, because why are they trying to attack Shrek in the middle of the night? They're trying to use the cover of darkness to try to have a one-up on Shrek. But Shrek is like, yo, I'm so used to these gigantic groups of people being afraid of me, terrorizing me, not wanting me to live my life in peace, that when they come in the middle of the night to attack Shrek, he's not even phased. He is so used to this that he even has a special technique, and he is able to get those people up and out of there immediately. The narrative of Shrek 1 is trying to tell us something here. It's trying to tell us a lot, and I feel like I just want to talk about it. So in this movie, the marginalized people that we are talking about are definitely the fairy tale creatures. The fairy tale creatures are supposed to be inserts, whatever, for whatever marginalized group you want to talk about. And personally, for me, I want to see the fairy tale creatures as people of color, non-black people of color specifically, because the way that Shrek and ogres as an idea and as a concept are portrayed in the first and second Shrek movie are almost a one-to-one with how black people are treated amongst other marginalized groups of people. The oppression that the fairy tale creatures face in this movie is so similar to the oppression that a bunch of marginalized people face in our real world, right? Like the whole idea that Lord Farquaad put out an order to detain and forcefully get marginalized people away from his idealized land so that he doesn't have to be tainted by these marginalized people. It sounds very reminiscent. And I don't know, after the election and rewatching Shrek 1 and Shrek 2, I was like, damn, is this play about us? Because I was like, if you guys had watched my video, Black women are in their crash out era, I definitely talked about how people are so emboldened by the Trump presidency and the fact that he is reelected that they decided that they were going to do the Orange Man plan for themselves and decided that they were going to cut the middleman out and just call ICE on random Hispanic and Latino voters. Just cuz. And I don't know, seeing the election happen in real time and rewatching Shrek 1 and Shrek 2, I was like, damn.
Wait, is this fucking play about us?
Because what do you mean that Lord Farquaad put out an order to get marginalized people out of here, the marginalized people in question here being the fairy tale creatures, and then the average day citizens are doing the work of Lord Farquaad? And we eventually see that even being a tool of the state doesn't even have all of the benefits that you think it would have. Literally, in the introduction of Donkey as a character, we see that the woman who kidnapped him to bring him to the police, ICE, the Knights, as they were portrayed in the Shrek movie, they look at the lady and they're like, hey, thank you so much for like bringing this fairy tale creature to us, but this donkey don't talk, which means he's not actually one of the marginalized people we want to oppress. So lady, you're about to get arrested. And I just felt the same shock and awe at that scene as I'm feeling right now in our current social political landscape, because a lot of people, they're trying to be tools of the state, not knowing that they have 30 minutes.
Do you know you have 30 minutes? Are you kidding? 30, yes.
They have 30 minutes, but they're trying to be a part of the state. That's why I was so mad when Black women were like, oh, because you guys voted for Trump, I'm gonna call ICE on you. No, stop that. So going back to my analysis on why I feel like Shrek and his ogre identity is such a close one-to-one to the Black experience in America, it all has to go back to the camp where we meet Donkey for the first time. So like I said, all of the villagers, they wanted to attack Shrek, right? In order to try to get him to be oppressed, rounded up with all of the other marginalized fairy tale creatures. But Shrek ain't about that ish. He said, I'm an ogre. There's no way you're about to kidnap me. And literally, as Shrek is confused why there are so many people getting close to his isolationist paradise, he starts to investigate. He finds out that there is like a low-key camp of people who are oppressed, but Shrek don't care about that. He just wants those people to leave him alone. And as Shrek is investigating, he eventually gets seen by the cops/knights as they are portrayed in this movie. And Shrek is literally looking like, yo, what the hell? And the cops try to round up Shrek, but Shrek is not going for it. He's like, I'm an ogre. I don't play that. And Shrek causes all of the knights to run away in fear because they don't want no smoke. And so Shrek goes back home. He goes back home and he is awoken up by people invading his space. This is when the allegory of the blackness started to really hit me on the head, because it started speaking to me. So as Shrek is forcefully awoken up from his bed by people invading his home and having all of these demands, he's like, what the is going on? He exits his house and he's like, why are y'all here? And tell me why these people are scared of Shrek. Mind you, these people are in his home. And I just felt like that really just knocked me hard with the whole blackness allegory that I'm going for, right? Because as you guys have known, when it comes to Black people supporting other marginalized groups in their advocacy and their protests, Black people will be standing on business trying to support other marginalized communities. But then at the same time, a lot of these groups have a rampant amount of anti-Blackness in them. And I just felt like this was such a one-to-one parallel of these people, these marginalized fairy tale creatures coming into Shrek's home and them having the gall to be scared of Shrek. Mind you, it's his home. And so Shrek is like, I'm not going for this. I want to be by myself. I don't want to deal with anybody else. And I really felt like that whole self-isolationist mantra that Shrek had going for him is exactly how Black women are feeling like right now. I made that whole video talking about it, but the whole, I want to be by myself. I know I'm a part of a marginalized group, but I just want to be by myself is literally how the state of Black women are right now. I literally had to make a whole video about it because it was like a phenomenon that needed to be talked about. But back onto the analysis of Shrek. And so while everybody is taking roots in Shrek's home, doing all of this and that, Shrek is like, nah. I gotta figure out how to get these people from my house like now. And so they tell him that, oh, Lord Farquaad has banished us here to your little swamp because he doesn't want to see us marginalized people in his perfect utopia anymore. So now we're forced to be with you. And Shrek is like, okay, per usual, I'm going to have to fix everything. No more analysis on that. Let me go talk to this Lord Farquaad creature guy and tell him to get y'all the from my home. The only person who really knows how to help Shrek is Donkey. Shrek is not going for it. He can't stand Donkey. Donkey's too kind, too nice, too up in his face. But he's the only one who can really tell him where the hell Lord Farquaad is. So as Donkey and Shrek are going on this whole mission, right, to practically figure out what to do to talk to Lord Farquaad, we get a lot of important character moments that I want to talk about because some of the things that Shrek said was just so deep to me. And his whole interaction between him and Donkey, I was just feeling it. So when Shrek and Donkey first meet, he adamantly tells him that we all needs friends. He can sense that Shrek is somebody who wants to live in his rugged individualism and doesn't want to be surrounded by people. But like Donkey says, we all need friends. Humans, even though Shrek is not a human, we're very social people, and that's obviously something that the movie is trying to tell us. When Donkey tells him that, Shrek literally scoffs at him and literally tells him, I'm an ogre. Grab your torch and your pitchfork, you know? That doesn't bother you, really? I don't know, that really hits deep because Black people have some of the most negative perceptions about us, but we're some of the most caring, kind, open people that you'll ever meet. Guys, we started that whole nonsense. We created a fictional space, that damn godforsaken cookout, where we literally invite any and everyone to that damn cookout. And that goes to show you how communal Black people are. Oh, you can dance, you're invited to the cookout. Oh, you can cook, you're invited to the cookout. People who have no damn business being around Black people be invited to that damn cookout. But Black people have the most negative perceptions about us. When I found out that almost every culture has like a negative derogatory word for Black people, I said, damn, That's insane. What do you mean each culture has their own N-word? What are you talking about? And I just felt like Shrek being so confused at how Donkey is just okay with his negative reputation and all of the vitriol and negativity that is surrounded around ogres, and Donkey's like, I don't care. It really hit deep because sometimes it's like, damn, you're able to see past all of the stereotypes about me, all of the negativity about me, and see me for who I am. I don't know if the allegory of blackness is hidden. The allegory of blackness is hidden, but let me continue. Donkey persists and is literally telling Shrek like, I don't know what you're talking about. I want to be your friend. You seem so cool. You seem so chill. I want to be your friend. And Shrek is not trying to hear none of this. He knows what it's like to live as an ogre, as a black man in this society. He's like, whatever you say, we'll see how long that lasts. And Shrek literally says, whatever, I like my privacy. The conversation / dialogue that Shrek and Donkey have as they travel to see Lord Farquaad has a lot of interesting tidbits that I want to talk about. So as Shrek is practically trying to explain to Donkey his experience as a black man, an ogre, a black man, he keeps using the analogy of an onion. So Donkey really isn't trying to get it. Like, Donkey does not have to live as an ogre, as a black man. So he doesn't really understand all of the complex layers that surround being an ogre. Everybody has such a vitriol, nasty perception of ogres, but nobody really wants to dig deep and see ogres as people. Like, how do you mean you're a marginalized individual? But then you also have like xenophobia, bigotry towards another marginalized group. It'd be wild to see, like, it really be shocking when y'all think about it. But Donkey doesn't get it. He's not an ogre. He does not have to consistently walk around knowing that everyone hates him and that nobody wants to give him the benefit of the doubt. And like Shrek said, ogres are like onions. They have layers, but nobody wants to do the difficult work of peeling back the layers to see what's on the inside. And I low-key feel like that ate. I feel like that ate. And I just feel like, wow, this movie is great. No wonder people love the Shrek franchise and it keeps having all those spin-offs. Like, y'all did that. And so as they eventually make their way to Lord Farquaad's kingdom, we see Shrek confront Lord Farquaad about the whole, you practically taking all of the marginalized people and putting them in my house. Like, that's literally not fair. Like, why would you take all these people and put them in my house? He confronts Lord Farquaad on that. But the way that conversation led up to me was also something that made me think about the black experience. So as we see, Lord Farquaad is trying to get his girl, Fiona, but he is not trying to get her himself. So he literally hosts a gigantic contest. Whoever can be the best knight will have the honor of saving Princess Fiona for me. And so as we see these people fight each other, Shrek shows up and he's like, yo, where's Lord Farquaad? Where's Lord Farquaad? I want to talk to him, right? But as he's trying to get Lord Farquaad's attention, he low-key has to do a 1v8 fighting all of these knights in order to get to Lord Farquaad. As he's fighting these knights, everybody starts to boo, but as he starts to win, people are like, okay, ogre. And that definitely brings me to one of my thesis points. You are one of the good ones. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you. That whole back and forth thing that happened between the citizens of Lord Farquaad's land and Shrek, it really blew me because that literally is exactly what the black experience is like. People hating you from the jump, seeing you as worthless, undermining your talents. But then when you prove to them like, hey, I'm low-key him, in the case of Shrek, people do a switch up on you like they weren't just hating you. And that whole dichotomy is so bizarre to experience because literally, I know that I have pink hair, I know I have a piercing, and I literally dress like I want to be a My Little Pony character, but people act as if I'm not a college educated BSN nurse. Like, that whole dichotomy is so weird to see because people will literally undermine you, dog you, but as soon as you prove yourself, all of a sudden they're like, oh wow, like you're really talented. Like, duh, I've always been talented, but because you see my ogreness or my blackness, whichever one you want to use for the allegory that I'm going for, you were blind. You let your bigotry block you from all of the talents that I had. And that's exactly how I felt like when I was watching that scene in Shrek 1, because it's literally so annoying to see people undermine you and literally disrespect you and undermine your intelligence just because you're black. And this has happened to me time and time again. That's why I wanted to do this deep analysis of Shrek, because I was okay, like, yo, I get it, because people treat me like I'm an ogre too. It's crazy. When I was a kid, consistently, my white peers would always be shocked and appalled, and even my white teachers would be shocked and appalled about how smart I was. Hello? Like, it was literally like I'm literally the archetype of a nerd, and you're confused why I'm smart? When I moved to a new school from like the inner cities to like the suburbs, people were shocked and appalled that I was the top ranking student and I only been there for like a month. Why are you shocked? Why are you shocked? When I was in 8th grade, I had the opportunity to go apply for a magnet program, a specialized like science-based magnet program that also dealt in health sciences. And so many people were shocked that I got in, and they were like, oh, they only let you in because I'm black. And I was like, okay, let me see your last test exam and we can go bar for bar. We can go grade for grade. The black experience is so jarring because even when you do all of like the things that you're supposed to do, be well educated, speak well, don't curse, don't use ebonics, you will still be judged just based off the fact that you were black. And that is why I really wanted to make this video, to talk about the cognitive dissonance that it can feel like to be called one of the good ones, because that is one of the things that definitely sends me into a complex because of the fact that I have like a transatlantic accent and it's super obvious that I'm not American because of my accent. I've had so many people try to put me into the category of being one of the good ones, and that is one of the grossest things that you can say to me. Literally saying to me, you're one of the good ones, you might as well just call me the N-word with the hard ER. I know what you're trying to say. It makes me feel weird, gross, ew, stop that. And that is exactly why I wanted to make this video and talk about how weird it can be to be a marginalized person, but also be consistently told that you're one of the good ones. Being told you're one of the good ones is literally the worst thing you can say to somebody. It literally is so gross and it is not a compliment. Literally being told that you're one of the good ones is exactly what it feels like when people be like, oh, you're pretty for a black girl. That is not a compliment. It just told me that you're a hard bigot. I have had people consistently say that, and it's so freaking weird. Like, it's not the compliment that people think it is. As a nurse, I'm obviously exposed to a bunch of people, right? Because it's a hospital. We're gonna get people in, out, in, out, in, out. People will say, oh, Emma, you're so kind, you're so smart, you just sound so well-spoken. And in my head, I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Why wouldn't I be well-spoken? I'm literally a well-educated black woman. Why wouldn't I be well-spoken? And then they follow it up. It's the following it up that throws me. Oh, so where are you from? And then I'm literally like, I'm from here, I was born and raised here. No, sweetie, where are you really from? And I'm like, I'm really from here. I know where they're trying to get at. They're trying to insinuate that I'm not like the average black person. They're trying to get at the fact that I am a Ghanaian American. And I'm just like, I don't play that. I don't think that's cute. Like, I am like my black brothers and sisters who are here, whose ancestors have been here for literally ages. Don't try to separate me from the in group, trying to make me the out group, trying to make me feel like I'm better than them. That's weird and I hate that. Another example of a marginalized person who also got told that they're one of the good ones definitely has to come from Arcane Season 2. For those who stayed up until this point trying to figure out how the hell I was going to connect Shrek, IdentityPolitics, and Arcane, baby, you've made it. We're talking about Arcane. So for those who haven't watched Arcane Season 2, here's your spoiler warning, here's your spoiler warning. Out of Arcane Season 2, the first 3 episodes, I only watched the first 3 episodes as of me filming this, was wild. We are dealing with the ramifications of the terrorist attack that Jinx did that got all of like the big prominent people out of here, right? Caitlyn lost her mom, and ever since she lost her mom, Shawty has not been her. She's been not her. She has felt so much loss and so much betrayal from everybody that she's in her crash out era. She is in her crash out era, and due to all of the guilt that she feels for not doing her job and not living to her mom's expectations, she's trying to get everything that she lost back in blood, and this has caused her to spiral. So if you guys don't know, Vi and Caitlyn have obviously been in their entanglement, like they're dating, right? And so due to her trauma and feeling bad that her sister was the one who killed her girlfriend's mom, Vi low-key lost herself. And by low-key, I mean high-key. Vi has always been a F the system, ACAB, 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 but her pretty little girlfriend blinked her eyes at her twice, and Caitlyn became super cop. She became big sis general, and that whole corruption of Vi's character really plays into what I'm trying to talk about trying to fit into the mode of being one of the good ones, and how that will always backfire. So like I said, I watched the first 3 episodes, and now Vi is a super cop. They are literally harassing the poor people of the Undercity. They are gassing these people. This is literally a bastardization of everything that Season 1 Vi stood for, right? And literally after doing all of these Scooby-Doo hijinks, we finally get to what Caitlyn wanted. A situation where she can kill Jinx, right? And as she's about to put the final shot and end Jinx, a little child jumps in front of Jinx trying to save her. And even Vi can't stand this. Vi's like, Caitlyn, I know, baby. I know. She literally does that little meme where it's like, baby, this is not who you are. This is not who you are. This is not who you are. You're not about to shoot a kid. And Caitlyn said, who's not finna shoot a kid? And Vi has to like slap it out of her hand. This is literally what I talk about when I say that whole you're one of the good ones thing is always gonna backfire. Because as soon as Vi tries to stand on business and is trying to prevent her sweet little girlfriend from being a cold-blooded killer, Caitlyn literally looks at her. Mind you, Vi literally gave up on all of her morals just for her. And she literally says, I knew you'd always be one of them. That gagged me. Because literally trying to conform yourself and literally bend and break your body in order to be one of the good ones is always going to backfire. It backfired for Vi. It backfired for me. I wasn't even trying to be one of the good ones. I'm just a quirky black girl and they thought that I was. It obviously backfired for me even though I wasn't trying to be her. I wasn't trying to do that. And it definitely backfired for Shrek. So let's hop back into the Shrek analysis because I have more things to say. And so as Shrek is practically gassed now that Lord Farquaad has named him the Super Supreme Knight after defeating all of the other knights, Shrek is now sent on this deadly ass mission trying to save Princess Fiona from the freaking dragon that is keeping her hostage, right? And we are literally seeing that Shrek is doing the most trying to be one of the good ones. He's literally fighting a fire-breathing dragon just for the clout that came with literally being named Lord Farquaad's like Supreme of Supreme. Because I'm not gonna hold you, Shrek is low-key him for real. He could have staged a revolution with all of the marginalized people and got Lord Farquaad out of there in 10 minutes. But no, he wants to go and follow the you're one of the good ones route and do what Lord Farquaad says in order to get what he wants. And we see how that backfires. When Shrek eventually saves Fiona, Fiona's like, yo, let me see the face of the man who saved me. Like, oh my gosh, my dream prince. And Shrek is so shocked and disgusted within himself that he's like really nervous to show Fiona his face. But Fiona is adamant. You saved me, a part of the fairy tale credence. You gotta show me your face, like you're him. And he takes off his mask and Fiona is not with it. Fiona is not with it. The way that ogres are hated in this movie is such an allegory for blackness because even when you are a part of the marginalized group, because guys, if you hadn't watched Shrek 1, the big plot twist of the movie is that Fiona is also an ogre. It's like she logic for real. She like logic because she's also an ogre. But when she sees Shrek, she's like, ew. Sis, I know you're not saying ew. I know you is not saying ew. Baby, that's your twin. Twin, where have you been? And Shrek is just so uncomfortable because he obviously knows just by the way Fiona is acting that it's that bigotry. And after a while, Shrek has to like get himself together. He's like, I know what this is. Everybody always treats me the same. And he says something along the lines of, I'm scarier than anything in this forest. And it's a mess. It's a mess. Everybody hates ogres. And even being an ogre, you hate ogres. We later find out that Fiona is an ogre too, and just like Shrek, she is disgusted with herself. She cannot physically believe that she is a dainty, cute princess in the morning and that at night she's cursed to be an ugly ogre. And she is so shocked and appalled by her disgusting visage that she even hides her ogreness from another ogre. And I'm not gonna hold y'all, I be seeing the same ish happen in the black community. And it's so jarring because the way we as the black community be fantasizing and fetishizing mixed race babies, I do be getting why some mixed people be trying to hide their blackness. I've seen people get rhinoplasty trying to hide their black nose. I've seen people do perms trying to hide their 4C hair. And don't even get me started on skin bleaching. Baby, this analogy is analogizing. This analogy is analogizing. And so as Shrek and Fiona start to get closer and they start their bond over their shared interest of like being weird, farting, burping, they're obviously starting to catch feelings, but Fiona does not know what to do with herself. And she says she is a princess and princess and ugly don't go together, and that's why she can't be with Shrek. And Shrek overhears this and thinks that she is talking about him. She low-key is because she low-key hating on ogres and the ogre identity, but she's talking about how she's ugly. And even though she's a princess, she's an ogre. This analogy is analogizing. Oh my gosh. And so eventually Shrek and Fiona, they have their little like bad communication era, and they're like, you know what, F it. Fiona says, I'm gonna marry Lord Farquaad. Shrek is like, do you then? It's a mess. And Donkey's like, I know, you guys need to communicate. And eventually, you know, Donkey's like, you know what, she liked you. She liked you, she liked you. You need to fight for your girl. You better fight for your girl. And Shrek eventually goes to where Fiona and Lord Farquaad are getting married. And eventually we get that big, gorgeous princess reveal of Fiona turning into a princess because the sun sets. And Lord Farquaad is a bigot. When Shrek came to stop the wedding, Lord Farquaad said, really, it's rude enough being alive when no one wants you, but showing up uninvited to a wedding? I'm not gonna lie, Lord Farquaad is Trump. Lord Farquaad is Trump. On God, he is. And I don't know, Shrek 1 was such a good movie because at the end, when Shrek and Fiona have the true love's kiss or whatever, when you have that true love's kiss, it's supposed to revert you to your truest self. And Fiona says, I'm supposed to be beautiful. And Shrek says, but you are beautiful. Because Fiona living in her truth and her admitting and finally coming to grasp with the fact that she is an ogre was really what she needed. Because her consistently living in fear, not being able to be a city girl, practically living her life, because as soon as the sun will set, she would go turn into her deformed form because of all of the anxiety and self-hatred that she had. It was just not it. What she really needed to do was accept that she was an ogre. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, Shrek 1 is such a good movie. I definitely recommend it to anybody who's looking for anything good to watch. But if you guys like my analysis that I did comparing the You're One of the Good Ones to Shrek 1 as well as Arcane, let me know. I'll definitely do a part 2 when I have time, because I definitely will a bunch of things in relation to Shrek 2 and the whole idea of the ogre analogy and interracial dating. But let me know. If y'all don't like this video, I will make a part 2. But if y'all really blow this video up, then I'll definitely talk about Shrek 2 and maybe the rest of Arcane. If you guys like this video, please make sure that you hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification button. I'm trying to make sure that in December, y'all getting a bunch of videos as a little Christmas treat. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.